Hey, you might notice the low back pain video and the sciatica video are the same. It's because I kind of look after these two conditions the same. So sciatica is essentially pain that's radiating down into your butt or right down your leg. And for some people, some folk have had this for years. And low back pain is quite obviously pain in your lower back. Now, we see people who have had surgeries for this and a pile of injections. We see people who have had, and look, with the surgery side of things, I certainly won't take on every sort of surgery fail that walks into the office, because sometimes there's just too much stuff missing from your spine, or too much stuff that's been added that I go, I don't know, I don't think this is a good one for me to have a go at. But I've had a lot of people with some pretty significant surgeries have some results. So and often it's not a 100% result, but it makes life more livable. But look, if you've seen a whole pile of folk with these problems, a Gonstead chiropractic, I think, is different enough that sometimes there can be some space to still get you better, a whole lot better than you are right now anyway. So how it works is I'm going to have a feel through your spine. And for some people with these conditions, this can be the first time they actually get their boo-boo touched. I've had folk for whom often these really weird sacral problems, and I'll touch the sacral tubercle that I think's in lesion, and they'll jump in the chair and so excitedly stare at me going, "Oh my God, you found it!" And only take on stuff that I can find, because if I can't find a problem in your spine, there is very little I can do for you. I've had quite a few folk over my career that have had a problem, and but I can't find it, so I can't do anything. I don't think they're crazy. It just, there's lots of things can cause pains, and not all of them are from the tissues that I'm poking on. So so how this works is I'm going to have a feel through your spine. I'm going to run this gizmo up and down your spine that picks up on temperature. When I have a feel through your spine, I'm feeling for swelling, I'm feeling for different changes in texture over the skin, I'm feeling for muscle tension on either side. All of these things give me hints as to what's going on in there. You know, where we're trying to work out why it is that you can't accommodate to life properly. And so this stuff's never genetic, or it's a very, very skinny bit of it is, but most of these types of issues, for all you might think your dad had a bad back, and therefore you do, but your dad was probably living a very similar lifestyle to you, which is definitely not the one you were made to live. My dog's going crazy. Get out of the freaking mud. Oh, muddy paws. But so we have a good look through your spine, and then if I think I can help you and you've got a long-term thing in there, I'm going to take a standing x-ray of your spine. So the reason we do it standing is because we want to see what your pelvis and your low back does when you tell it to point forward or sideways. And that's really how I then go about working out which direction and where to push some forces into your spine. So then I'm going to push some forces into your spine, assuming we're all good to go, you're happy with what I've suggested and all that kind of gear. I'm going to adjust your spine. I'm going to push a force into your spine, into the stuck joint, into the direction that it's stuck. Now, you're actually not going to feel a whole lot better when I do that. And in fact, if you've had this for ages, you'll probably feel worse. And that's definitely not the goal. But if you're not a spring chicken anymore, and there's quite a significant change to the way your body moves, you should notice it. It's not going to be pleasant, but it's not horrible. But so normally, with someone like this, I'll be seeing them at least a couple of times in the week. And most of the time, if you're in your 50s and you've had this for a few years, or your 40s, I'm going to be doing this for probably a couple of months. You know, this stuff doesn't go away quickly, particularly if you've got a sedentary type job where you're sitting on it all day. It takes a while. But I'll check through your spine, make that change. You're going to come back in a few days. I'm going to check through your spine again. Now, if you've had this thing for ages, I'm surrounded by water. It's very wet, Perth, this year. But if you've had this for ages, I'm probably going to find myself on pretty much the same stuff for a few visits, because I'm trying to change a pattern. So I'm going to be doing pretty much the same thing for a few visits, and I'm going to keep checking through your whole spine every single time. I don't just assume it's the same. I'm hoping it's going to be different. So I'm going to keep looking through your spine, keep adjusting the joints that require, and I expect things to start turning over. I expect a few different things to start to pop up as the system changes, and a few new things to pop up, and along the way I expect you to start getting a few subtle hints that we're on the right track. I don't like people being in my office on faith for too long. I want you to start going, wow, I actually didn't hurt for a couple of hours yesterday for the first time in ages. That's pretty cool. But that's how this stuff works. Now, it's not miraculous. I know a return to normal function can feel quite miraculous, but we're just pushing mechanical forces into your spine and getting your brain to respond. That's how this stuff works. So if that's attractive, get in contact with the office. We may well be able to help you. And in all seriousness, if I don't think I can help you, I'm not going to take you on. I don't want to waste your time. I've got a lovely rating on Google internationally, and I don't want to have someone going, this guy sucks, he couldn't help me, rubbish, 1 star. I don't want that. So I want to get you better. So look, if you think I can, if this sounds attractive and you think we could work together, my dog is going nuts, then get in contact with the office. Bye.